it's a race against the clock. I have to fix this absolute disaster before Raya gets back in just over 1 day. She gets back the day after tomorrow morning. And this is the current state of the bus. It's the worst it's ever been. The bus is a complete mess right now because lots of organising is happening. Something that I realised yesterday is that under the sink here, there's some mould forming. It's getting damp under there from either leaking around the seal of the sink or coming in from where the shower is, like it's leaking through the tiles where the tiles are cracked. Either way, I've got a feeling I'm gonna have to dismantle this whole unit and then maybe even rip up some of the flooring and walls and like replace some of the wood. It's gonna be a big job, but it's kind of vital because we don't want to be living with mould. I guess the other good thing about doing this is it gives me a chance to repair and treat this wood top because there's huge cracks, so like food and stuff is falling through to the drawer below, so there's always little crumbs in here. So I need to seal this, and I think just kind of try and varnish or something the top surface to stop the water, but yeah, look at all this water damage. This is kind of going mouldy here. This whole thing this is always wet, so maybe this is where it's leaking through. Look, I'll show you inside here. This is where it's really bad. This is all kind of damp, although I have run the dehumidifier, but I think there may be a chance we have to rip up this whole floor. If the mould hasn't penetrated all the way through, maybe I can just remove the surface mould. That is not good. How deep down does this go? Unfortunately, there is so much damp that seeped through that I think the only solution is to rip it up and replace it. So it might take a while, but I think it's worth it in the long run. Okay, so obviously that's a lot easier to see what's going on. The question is, has the damp gone all the way under this whole cabinet? I'm thinking maybe it has. Just want to show you what we're dealing with here. Check this out. This is so rotten. Oh man, that is just so bad. I did have a feeling this might happen where I'm not sure of the full extent of the problem, and as I'm slowly dismantling things, it dawns on me it's a lot worse than I initially thought, so I'm having to dismantle more and more. I'm hoping I don't have to pull up more of the floor, but I mean, it's kind of wild. Like, just look at this. This is all soaking wet. I need to figure out how bad this is, like how far under the floorboards does this damp go? I mean, this is kind of wild. Luckily, I guess I could take these up one by one, but I don't know how deep this is. That is pretty wild. The entire kitchen counter and sink is gone. I want to see what's underneath this chipboard. Yeah, I just want to see if it's worth trying to rip all of this up, the whole floor. It's a lot of work. Oh man. Thanks to Bluetti for sponsoring today's video. They've sent us the AC300 and B300 power station and a 420 watt portable solar panel setup, and I'm very excited to install this in our baby-friendly road tripping project next year. I'm not going to go into it. All I'm going to tell you is one of the reasons we got the Tesla was
because it had a tow bar package on it. That's all I'm going to say. You might recognise this from some of the trips we did last year, including going to Vegan Camp Out, which was Neo's first van life adventure, and this kept us powered the entire time. But yeah, the AC300 and B300 combo is a game changer for off-grid living with an impressive 3,000 watt capacity, and with these expandable B300 units, you can add on more up to 12,000 watt hours, making it great for van life, but also an incredible home backup system. And with the Life PO4 batteries, it ensures a decade of daily use without worrying about having to replace it. And when I was living in my double-decker bus more than a decade ago, I was using leisure batteries that I'd have to replace like every year. So it's a bit of an investment, but massively worth it. The thing that most attracts me, and I think is the biggest advantage of investing in something like this, is the simplicity. Basically, it's plug and play, and it eliminates the need for all of that time-consuming complexity with like a DIY setup, which I've also done in the past. So if you just want simplicity, this is your guy. Also, the uninterruptible power supply feature guarantees you're never left in the dark in a power outage. In the summer, I really put this to the test and ran a huge outdoor sound system for the entire day at my friend Dave's wedding festival. We had multiple laptops, phones charging, speakers, amps, guitar amps, a mixer, and then loads of LED stage lighting. And we were running it for almost 8 hours non-stop, which was incredible and was our only option really, because we were off grid, there's no power. The only other thing would have been to have a loud, noisy generator there. So this was absolutely perfect and very impressive that it powered all of that stuff. There's also a Bluetti app that you can monitor the live power usage, and I love that you can track how much CO2 pollution you've saved by using it. And then it has a bunch of different charging options, including a super fast 3,000 watt charging from the mains and up to 2,400 watts of solar charging. And you can even do a simultaneous solar and mains charging up to 5,500 watts. And as someone that's lived a lot of my life out of vehicles and off-grid, the Bluetti power station really excites me for all our future van adventures with Neo, doing all our camping trips and going to festivals next year. So to sum up, the Bluetti AC300 and B300 power station is a must-have for van lifers and anyone seeking energy independence. It combines massive capacity with reliability, an uninterruptible power supply, user-friendly app, and a hassle-free setup. So, if you're interested, check out the link in the description to get your Bluetti AC300 and B300 power station. Let's get back to the video.
Okay, I have drilled through and the dampness is all the way through. I'm feeling very overwhelmed right now. Actually a bit sad at the amount of work that I'm creating for myself. I'm pulling up the flooring. Again, probably a terrible idea, but I just need to see how far this goes. This is clearly a lot wetter in here. I mean, literally it's like splashing on me. This isn't as wet. So we could definitely take out this section here without too much of a problem. I don't know how far it goes this way. I guess let's have a little look. Shit, man. This is just absolutely rotten. I was gonna drill through it, but I don't even need to. How is it most rotten right here? This is definitely escalated pretty wildly. Oh my gosh. It's about to start raining, but before it does, I'm going to keep these windows open and use my circular saw to cut through this chipboard. I set the depth. Let's have a look. This is the deal. Raya's been away on a retreat for the last 4 or 5 days. She gets back on Saturday. It's currently Thursday night, and this is what the bus looks like. It's the worst it's ever been. It's just, I don't know how this has happened, but it's really bad. So I am under pressure now to get this all fixed before Raya gets back, because I don't want to make her last few days in Costa Rica before we head out miserable, and this would make it miserable. So that's my challenge. I need to basically saw back, figure out where I need to replace wood, figure out where the leaks are so that doesn't happen again. And then tomorrow I'm heading into San Jose to a DIY store to buy wood and probably some more laminate flooring, because all of this is old and buckled and stuff anyway. So I'm going to try and match this and get some more flooring to put down, and then fit the whole unit back in as if nothing had ever happened, but obviously a lot more future-proof. So that's my challenge. I'm probably going to stay up pretty late tonight and then crack on and just blitz it tomorrow. This rotted floor all down the central corridor, I'm going to have to saw with a circular saw so I can start prising it up. So I'm just going to come right at you. I have just committed and pulled up pretty much the rest of the laminate flooring. And as you can see, this is the clear line of where the water's leaked. Isn't that wild? I just can't believe it. Maybe it just run down this edge, or could it be the rain? I don't think so though. I've just spent the last 2 hours collecting all the things I'm gonna need to repair the floor of the bus. I think I've got everything I need. It took me a while to figure out what woods I need, but this is the chipboard up here, and it looks like it's been treated. I think that's what the blue means, it's like weather treated. That's basically the same stuff that was in there. And then I'm getting some plywood for some of the cabinets that went moldy at the bottom. And I got some new laminate flooring. It's pretty expensive, it was like almost $200 for what we need, even though it's a small space, but I think this is gonna work fine. It's wider than the other stuff, but it's got like a 30-year guarantee on it. And it's antibacterial, moisture defense technology. I don't know, I think it's pretty cool. Right, I just need to find someone with a forklift now to pick up my wood. Slight change of plan. The chipboard up there, I couldn't see from this distance, but it's actually only ½ inch thick, so like 12 millimeters. So I needed 25 millimeters, so I've gone for the plywood. I'm hoping it's damp resistant enough, but we'll see. Oh, little update on timing schedule. In 22 hours, Raya is landing. So realistically, I've got about 10 to 12 hours to do everything I need to do, repairing the shower, replacing all the chipboard floor, and ideally laying the laminate floor, and then tidying and cleaning the bus ready for Raya's arrival. Very ambitious. Let's see if we can do it. Oh my gosh, it's like almost 5:30. I barely got started. I've got all the materials. What I'm gonna do now is just basically clear up the edges, all the rotted chipboard flooring I'm gonna rip up. Try and just clean it all ready just to lay new board. So it's gonna be a bit fiddly, and I'm gonna to sweep this all up. Probably gonna take like at least an hour. And then I can measure up exact and then cut the boards. If I'd been more prepared and had exact measurements, they would have cut them for me at the store, but I wasn't prepared, so I have to cut them myself. And it's raining right now. The boards are a bit wet, so hopefully it stops raining. It'll probably be dark by then, so I've got a little LED floodlight, a little LED work light. But despite all that, I'm feeling pretty positive, optimistic, but also not entirely sure I'll get it done. I actually am enjoying this process, despite it being a bit of a nightmare. This is just one of the obstacles of life, you know? And I'm learning a lot as well, which is cool. Oh, I bought some chisels.
This is what I was missing in my tool collection. Oh, and I bought a crowbar as well. We have 16 hours until I need to leave here and pick up Raya, and we have not made much progress, unfortunately. Still chucking it with rain outside. I cannot cut the wood until the rain stops, and the wood's now wet. Hopefully it hasn't soaked through, but I might have to dry that out. Also within that 16 hours I need to sleep. The final thing I need to do, which is pretty tricky, is this is the last board that needs to come out. These are the big kind of soggy, damp, mouldy sections. So I'm basically going to cut along the edge of where the couch is rather than dismantle the whole couch. Same with the oven unit. I'm going to just cut along the edge. Same, I might have to take the fridge out because it sticks out a bit, but basically I'm going to cut along the edge as close as I can get. Try and get it pretty even, and then I can measure exact measurements, and I'll draw it all out, plan it all out, and then as soon as the rain stops, I can run outside, put on my workbench, start cutting the wood. And it should just slot into place, but I do foresee there'll probably be sort of some obstacles. I've taken the drawers out, now I'm just gonna saw along this edge. To move the fridge because I just need to cut as close as I can to that wall, and the fridge is sticking out. It's actually the first time we've taken the fridge fully out. Minus 15 hours, and I have almost finished prepping. So check this out, okay? I've cut all the edges clean and I chiseled along them. I think it's all pretty clean. So now I just need to sweep up all of this and then start measuring to put the boards down. So let's do a little sweep up. Looking pretty awesome. Let's get it! Let's get it! Are you scared? T-minus 13 and a half hours. Woo, the rain has finally stopped. I just lifted one of the big boards off the bus. Actually, two of the big boards. This one was on the top and this one got absolutely drenched. So I'm gonna let that dry out. I think I'm gonna measure and start drawing out and potentially cutting. Got my LED floodlight. Yeah, I like this setup. I don't know about you guys, but I love working late at night. My prime optimal working hours are probably like 11 until 2 a.m. So I'm gearing up for a late night shift. I'm hoping by the time I go to bed, I can have the underflooring down, like all this plywood down and fixed in place. And then what I've decided is I'm gonna let it dry out, like the whole area, like all the edges where it's currently still a bit damp, where I can't get to. And then I'm gonna tidy up the bus, maybe even reinstall like the kitchen area. And I don't think I'm gonna try and put the laminate on, definitely not tonight. Kelly, hey! She's always finding bones. Where did you find that one? When I was in the hardware store today, even though I was in there for like 2 hours, I got the measurements wrong. I didn't buy enough wood, the 25mm thick plywood. Only just by a slight amount. So I've done all the calculations here. This is to scale 1/100th of the scale of the floor space that I need to fix. So this is the bed here. This is the toilet shower. This is the section I need here. It's 196 centimeters. And this is where the kitchen goes over the top here, and the stove and stuff's here. So that's another 161 centimeters. This is where the couch comes out, so that saves some space. 149, and there's this little small bit at the bottom. Now what I figured out is I have got enough area of wood
if I chop it into like sections to do these 3 main pieces. And this little section here, I'm actually going to repurpose this chipboard because it's not all damaged. So I feel like if I use this top half and there's just one corner that's damp, I don't think it's too bad. It isn't breaking apart, so I think I can try and dry that out, and then that should give me enough wood to do it all. This is the to scale pieces of wood I've got, and these pieces don't fit, so I'll have to like figure out maybe cutting them in half or into thirds. Let's see if we can make it work. If anyone's got a better way of doing this, I was trying to find an app where you could like plan out the size of your cuts that you need, but because I'm gonna have to do these in sections, like I just can't really find anything other than visually doing it like this. This is the way my brain works. It's lucky no one else is living here right now, because I don't think this is gonna fly once we have neighbors sawing wood outside at like midnight. So I'm just making the most of it whilst I can. Also, once we build our house, I'm gonna build an epic workshop and try and sound insulate it so I can do projects into the early hours. This is all trial and error. I've basically cut that board in 2 rather than trying to fit it in one big board. It's actually better to cut them into pieces. I'm now gonna like cut a little notch for where some wires are coming through. So I've just put on a hole saw into the drill. I'm gonna do a hole saw here and then cut either side. Moment of truth. That took a lot longer than planned. It is 3:15. We have 8 hours and 14 minutes till I need to leave, pick up Rica, and we're only probably a third of the way there. But I'm learning. I basically did the measurements just too exact, too tight, and I need to leave some wiggle room. So I'm gonna do one more cut, and that will allow me to put the kitchen back in. I've just sketched out where the pipes need to come through. Let's go and see if I got this right. I hope I did. I am very happy with that. Right, I've just cut this. This is the last thing to put in before the kitchen. One of the other things on the to-do list was to sand and varnish and treat and maybe even like fill with some epoxy resin the kitchen counter. That's gone out the window. Obviously spent all my time doing the floor. So we're gonna put this back in, keep it dry. It's a nice bit of wood. Nice bit of wood. Okay. The sun is rising. It's almost 5:30 in the morning. 6 hours until I need to leave. I don't think I'm gonna sleep. I think I decided a while ago that I'm not gonna. It is 6:30. The sun has fully risen now. Haven't slept at all. It's looking almost back to normal, but there's still 2 sections of floor missing here underneath me and floor missing in the corridor. But I'm gonna try and get the rest of the bus figured out and having a little coffee and starting the day. Coffee and a smoothie. That's how I start my day every day. I hit one of those slumps when you pull an all-nighter where I just couldn't function and I almost fell asleep. I was kind of a zombie for like an hour. I've got a bit of energy again now. I'm very overwhelmed with the amount of stuff still needing to do. I'm trying to tidy. I don't know what to do. I'm kind of just like running around like a headless chicken. Just over 2 hours till I need to leave, and this is the current update. Floor needs to go down in here and in there, and then I just need to tidy up basically. Don't know if I'm gonna have time to clean. Then I need to go have a shower, shave, clean the car a bit. It's all pretty crazy, but I'm gonna do my best. Okay, I'm officially running late. I was due to leave exactly now. We're getting there, we are getting there. It's not as complete as I wanted it to be. Running a little late, but I've left the bus. It's, I wouldn't say mission complete, but I would say I was 80% to where I want it to be, so not too bad, not too bad. I might have to go and buy some more wood to finish off the floor, but I am in desperate need of a shower because I've been working so hard the last couple of days that it just hasn't made sense to shower because I knew I was just going to get filthy and sweaty straight away again in the morning. So I am maybe like 4 or 5 days stinky. The floor is done. Check it out. All right. Oh, it looks so good. It also looks so good with this chair removed. I just have to drive like this now.